All right, so I'm taking the bike out today to lunch, but I kind of wanted to talk about something that I found out. Well, not necessarily found out, I kind of knew it, but people start riding bikes and you get a lot of advice that you should ride a smaller bike. And to a certain extent that's true. The mistakes that you make on a big bike, you're not going to have the leeway to I guess error correct, or than on a smaller bike like a 250, 300cc bike. But there is something to consider, and that's that not most, but a lot of people, they're pretty fast learners, don't make a lot of silly mistakes, especially if you're conservative. And I consider myself a fairly conservative person when it comes to these kinds of things. And I picked up motorcycle riding pretty quick. I don't think I make a lot of errors, and a lot of those things that a smaller displacement bike are going to give you some leeway when you make those errors. I don't necessarily make those errors. So riding with 50 or 60 other bikers, most of them with larger bikes, I kind of noticed the difference in obviously in power and speed. You start to think, man, should I have started on a 300cc bike? Or am I just kind of an anomaly to people who sometimes start on bikes, and whether you should start on a bigger bike or smaller bike? I started out on a 300cc bike, but now I'm starting to become more and more confident that I possibly could have started on a larger bike, because I've only been riding this bike now for a couple of months, really 2 months, and I'm already planning my next upgrade sooner rather than later. Sometimes people get bikes and they go for a big bike right off the bat. I've heard stories of guys that started out on a liter bike and they never laid it down, they never had any problems, and maybe they're just they just pick up things quickly. And then some people start out on just something like a 600cc bike and run that thing off the road first chance they get, lose it trying to lay it down, trying to rev match, or just all kinds of situations where that unforgiving, especially an older bike, an unforgiving older bike with nothing's electronic. I've heard of stories with guys on bikes like that laid their bike down making mistakes riding. Well, that's not me so far. And I don't even think I haven't really had any close calls either. And what I've noticed is that I'm kind of ready to upgrade. And it seems like it's faster than than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, I guess what I can ask you guys is, how quickly, when you got your bike, were you ready to upgrade to another bike, to another larger displacement bike? Did you start small? Did you just shoot for a bigger bike right off the top? Did you start in the middle, with like a 700cc bike? A lot of people like Gixxers because of their rider modes, which are really just they're made for riding in the rain and conditions where horsepower could be a factor in terms of your ability to maneuver the bike in the way it's intended. But a lot of people can use those modes as kind of training wheels to start on a bigger displacement bike and not have to deal with some of the pitfalls that come with just that bike being more dangerous for a new rider. So I'm interested in what you guys started out with, and how long did it take you to decide that you wanted to upgrade? When did you know? What mistakes did you made on the bigger bike? And the notices that you had, well, the differences that you noticed in comparison to what when you had the smaller bike. But leave me some comments. I'd like to hear about it. And if you're one of those champions that started with a leader bike right out of the gate, and you know you're still, there goes my boy's bike right there, Nick. It's a pretty nice bike too. Nice 2014 Honda. I don't know what it is, but rode with him the other day. He's got a nice bike. Anyway, but if you're one of those people that started out on a leader bike and to this day, man, you've been riding it, you know, you've been pushing it and haven't laid it down, and you just you got all this shit together, it all came clicking for you, I want to hear about it. Let me know.